Right, hello again. So I'm doing this as a kind of tip, kind of thing. Wait a minute, I'm gonna save that. Yeah, like a little tip and help kind of like video on the HyBird. You can hear it running in that background at the moment. Wait seconds. So let me just finish running that off. Right. So on my early video, you saw that I got a new set of compound. The compound set. I am still having little issues with the disc not being totally white with scratches, but it is actually removing, a good proportion, about 90% of the scratches, which I think is, pretty good. I can actually run those, and I will probably run those through the JFJ later. Do one quick blast and sanding, and then polish them up. But yeah, it's working a lot better now. Now, yesterday and the day before, I was actually mentioning about compatible compound. You can get compatible compound on eBay, but I would advise you not to buy it. The blue stuff is too thick. Let's turn this off a little. The blue compound, which you get a set of pads for, is too thick. I'll show you what the compound is. Just move my folder out of the way. So this is the compound. Where's my camera? Right, so you get a bottle of this and a packet of 6 pads, I think. Yeah, 2 packets of these, like 6 pairs for £44. I would advise you not to use it because the compound's too thick and it makes a hell of a lot of a mess all over your hands and fingers and in the machine. And also, if you run out of the original stuff and you find it a bit expensive, and you decide to use that, then that's totally up to you. But I'm kind of like advising you not to because the compound is thick. It's not kind of like watery, in between thickness and watery like the original compound is. And the pads are too soft. They don't cut into the disc as much as you want to. You could probably use the pads just for a quick buffer. If you've got like very, very, very fine minor scratches, and you've got plenty of like original compound, you could probably use them and like hopefully that they'll buff out the scratches. I'm going to try that later actually. Don't want to, but I'm going to just to see what happens. See if they do buffer out some of the scratches. The only thing is though, I'll be using more compound, which I don't want to be doing. I just wish that there was a machine that actually would buffer the pads. The pads would just buffer the disc without using compound, but there's no such luck of that. So anyway, there is also another type of compound, the white one that the guy sold at, because I bought all 4 of them. And I asked him if he had any more, and he said no, because he's closing his garage. Why that is, I don't know. It don't really bother me. He said he hasn't got none, so he ain't got none. I'm not going to be using this anymore. If I buy more of this, it'll be used on the JFJ, because I think the JFJ might work on it. I'm not 100% sure, but don't use this on the HyBird because it leaves a mess. It's really kind of thicker than the other stuff, thicker than the original compound that you get with the consumable pack for the HyBird. And it's a bit of a pig to clean out when you actually flush out the system to put more original compounding. That took me over half an hour to flush out last night with hot water. I put the tube from the compound, the tube that goes from the compound bolt into the machine, I put that into a cup of hot water, and then I'll just get pressing compound until it flushes it out that way. The guy who sells this does give you a very small, and I mean a very small one of these to flush it out, but that would have took over an hour. Lucky I had one of these ones in stock. The reason I had that because I was doing other stuff. I was using these for when I was mucking around doing soldering and stuff like that, and I had flux in these. But I had one spare which was empty and still new, and I used this one to more put pressure onto the actual water to flush the blue compound out. Right, so use the original compound. I know it's a little bit expensive, but it does work out a little bit cheaper as well. A bottle of compound. I'll show you. I'll go back to me. Should have had this all sorted out, really. Shop. Right, so the actual pads, I don't think they sell those separately anymore. No, they sold out. And you only get one pair, and it costs £10.50 for one pair. And one pair will only probably last about 8 hours, if that, depending on how bad your discs are and how many times you got to keep putting the disc through to get it cleaner and cleaner to remove more and more scratches. So with these, it is better to get the actual pack. With the pack, you get one bottle of compound, a timer chip with a pair of like the plastic pipe things you put on for the compound water to come through and hit the disc a little bit quicker. And then you get 6 of these suction pad things, which you have to push onto the spindle. You need that on there because otherwise the compound will leak through onto your disc on the other side, which it did with that one. And the only reason it done that one was because when I put this on last night, I pushed it all the way back so it's like that, so I could make sure all the waste compound was coming out when I was flushing it. But I forgot to put it back the way it was, and the machine's been running like that with the thing stuck like that, and compound was leaking all the way through the other side of the disc and leaving this kind of mess. I don't know if you see that, but yeah, I thought, what the hell's doing that, and I checked and I found out that, I'd pushed that back, and when I actually put it back the way it was, it stopped doing that. Plus, not only that, when it's like that, your machine will make a hell of a racket, and I mean a hell of a racket. But when I found out what was causing the compound and the racket, and I pushed that back, it's in the gear like so, and it pushes down onto the disc like that, and what it does, it stops the compound coming through the other side and making all the streaks, and it should also stop the white compound getting into the circle bit of the disc. So if you're doing this to like renew your disc to take up to CX will know that you've used a machine to do it, but they won't take disc with the compound in the center all dried up. They won't take it. So I took some up when I was using my JFJ and they completely said no, it's got dried compound on there, we can't take it. All they had to do was get a spray bottle and wipe it out, but they didn't want to do that, so I had to do it and come home and clean it and take the disc up to another CX at a later date. So anyway, you get 2 bottles of compound, a packet of these, you get a timer chip, 6 of these suction things, and 1 pair of the little plastic things which you have to put on the nozzle of the water and the compound, which is on the roof, the top part of the machine, but inside the machine. Not actually inside, but you got to, it's 2 little white nozzles, and you got to put the plastic on the white nozzle, so otherwise it just squirt everywhere. So that is kind of like controlling the water and the compound not to fly everywhere. If you want cloths, these cloths are really good, and I mean very, very good. That's why I bought another 4 sets or 4 pet for them. They are $3.95, I think they are. See, it don't even show you under like the HyBird. You've got to go into the search. Yeah, they're $3.75 each. Then you got to pay like the postage and the tax on top. You can actually get them with spray pack. One of these and a spray pack would be £6.50, or you can buy a packet of 10 cloths and 2 bottles of spray. So I'll say again, you can get 10 of these and 2 bottles of spray bottles for £44, or you can get a mega pack, but that's for the eco only, and the eco is like 2 pads, cleaning pads, 2 bottles of polish, 10 yellow buffing pads, 2 black buffing pads, 2 bottles of polish, which is 250ml, 2 bottles of water active, which is 200ml, and 2 cloths, but that's £100, very expensive. So these, all these cleaning machines do run a lot of money, and they do cost a lot of money to run. So I'm trying to do discs which ain't too badly scratched for 30 seconds, but I have been like running some really scratched ones just to make sure that the machine can still handle it. But the really bad scratch ones now, I'm going to be using them on JFJ. I tried the soft paper first to see if that gets rid of them, then I'll give them a quick buff. But there's still a few little minor scratches from the JFJ. Then I'll run it from the HyBird and see if the HyBird will actually remove it. I've got so many bloody discs I need to go through again, because when the machine ran out of the original compound, I had to buy a new consumer set, but I was using the compatible stuff, and that blue compound and these pads were just doing nothing. Sometimes I willingly remove scratches. I'm keeping these in case I do need them, but there is another packet of 6, my original packet of 6, which still hasn't turned up. They'll be going back to him, because then if I don't send them back, it means I've got to pay for them. So when they turn up, I just say to them, I don't need them, I'm going to return them because the pads are too soft. But they might be okay for a machine if you're just doing like a quick buffing, a 30-second buffing maybe, but it means keep changing from that one to that one. Now these are original, these are compatible. You'll see the difference in the colour. These have on there left, right, left, right, left, right. So it shows you, that goes on the left spindle, that goes on the right spindle. These ones don't have left, right on it, but you can tell because that is smaller than that one, and there is like 3 pairs in there. Bit pissed off still because the postman still hasn't been with my mail, unless he has been and I've not heard him. I'll go and check downstairs in a minute. I was going to go and do some shopping today, but I didn't. The other tip is, if your motor is running a bit loud, change that over, because they do wear down, and sometimes the compound might get underneath and get into the underneath of your disc on this side, which I showed you just now. For minor scratches, like if it's not really bad, just do a 30-second, and if it's still got a few scratches, do another 30-second. Hold on here. Hold on. Right, sorry about it. Every time a car door slams, I have to get up because I keep thinking there's a postman, but it's the same bloody neighbour who keeps going in and out all the time. And the way she slams the door, it sounds like the same door being slammed on a Royal Mail car, but it's a different vehicle. It would be an idea to make sure that the water catcher thing is emptied out every so often. I'll say like every hour, so the water does build up. That's the wastewater. Always check your water bottle as well, because that does get empty quite quickly. I was using it earlier, and it said like CW, and I thought, hey man, I could do CW. I only just filled that up last night, and I've only done like 10 discs. Well, what happened was that the tube, what feeds into the water bottle, was a little bit crooked, and it wasn't feeding the water through properly. So I still went and topped up the water anyway, and then put it back in, then carried on running the machine. I had to run a lot of disc again today, because they still wasn't too brilliant, but they are coming out a lot better now. Now I've got the original stuff. I've done those ones. There are a couple which has got compound around the edge, which you can see, which needs to be wiped off. You can normally wipe it off with a dry cloth, but if it's too dried in, then you might need some water or anti-static spray. Now this one still has a few little minor nicks in it. I'm not going to run that through the HyBird again. I'll run that through the JFJ and give it a quick buffer. I tried buffering it first. If that don't work, then I'll sand it and then buffer it. So I've done those ones again. These are like just shitty games, like Fever. This one I can't play because it's sort of scratched up on the outside, and I don't think that's going to work. Like same with Alien. I don't know why we've done that one, but you do get compound around the corner there because, as I say, I didn't have the thing down properly. There are still a few little nicks, but I don't really want to be putting it through again because I have tried it. When it's got like little nicks like that, I do run it through another go, and if it still doesn't do it, then I've tried a third time and it doesn't do it. Now the black ones, sometimes, as you can see, you can still see the compound around now. Why it's still like that, I don't know. I think it's probably where I didn't wipe it off properly, and sometimes the cloths will actually scratch up the disc again, and you'll see little micro scratches again, so that one's got to go through again. But yeah, the silver ones are coming out a lot better. I'm glad that I've got a new set of compound and whatnot, because now I can run them through again, because practically all the discs that I've done last week, I was just checking under the light and you could see that there were still scratches on them, and that's because of the compatible compound and that. So I just messed that one up because it's got dried compound on it. Sometimes it's worth giving them a wipe as well, especially around the corner bit. You can see dried compound in there sometimes, but it's not too bad, because some of the PlayStation games do have a white area around that disc. But I think that is compound, so I've got to go through these later anyway, just to try and clean them out. And the reason why it's left compound on there, I say, was because the pad was like that. It should have been like that, but after taking it off, I thought, I'll put a new one on anyway. I should have put a new one on when I put the new compound in, but I didn't think about it. And the nozzles, the little pink ones, these sometimes do tend to make the machine squeak. So what you got to do is, when you finish the rotation, once it's stopped the process, just take it off and push it back in as hard as you can, and that should stop it. If it don't stop the squeaking, the way I stopped it was just cut a little bit off, and then that actually does stop the squeaking, because there is a video and people have said on forums, I'm getting this really bad squealing, squeaky noise, and what it is that those little plastic tubing isn't set on correctly, or they're kind of sliding off, and although they're stuck on, they just kind of budged a bit, and that's what's causing the squeaking noise. Sometimes it can be that as well. So for the squeaking, check that, change them over. You've got a spare set. If it's still doing it, just cut a 2 millimeters off, very small amount, and then it's just stopped doing it. It did for me anyway. Am I happy with the machine? I'm happy with it now. I've got it working again, but it's very frustrating when you can't use it. And when you do get it, you do get hiccups with it, and it takes time and effort and resources to get you this, kind of near scratch free. People said, even with the Echo Pro and the HyBird, there's more videos on the Echo Pro than the HyBird. But even with the JFJ, you're never ever going to get a disc scratch free. You're still going to get discs with little micro scratches. The machine, again, is taking 30 seconds off the timer chip. You're using compound. You're using the pads. Water's okay, you can get plenty of water, but the pads and the compound cost money. And it also uses electricity, as we all know. But I'm kind of happy that they are coming out a lot more better now. I'm trying to look at them under the light. I think, that looks pretty cool. But tonight, when the light's down and I turn my light on, I guarantee I'm still going to see a few little scratches on there. But the thing is, you can't see them in the normal daylight that I can see. But later on tonight, if I could check through them again, I'm pretty sure I'm going to see some little fine micro scratches on them, and fingerprints and smears. But if you want one of these machines, you can get one on Amazon, a refurbished one on their website. Yeah, a refurbished C grade is £895. But on Amazon, I've got one on there for £750, and that's how much I paid for my one, £750. It started off well. then it suddenly like started giving me like problems and problems and problems. I was using so much compound and pads, you know, I ran out within about 2 to 3 days, you know, kind of thing. Because I was like on it constantly trying to get the disc to clean up, you know, trying to find out why the compound was leaking everywhere, why the scratches weren't coming off, and you know, it's just so much of a pain in the backside. And I didn't really want to buy the consumer pack at first. I bought the compatible stuff, and I say like I used that for a couple of days, and it was just total useless. The compound's too thick, the pads are too thin, too soft, and they weren't removing half the scratches from the disc. So I had to end up getting the another new consumer pack. And because I had the hiccups with the issue with the machine, I was lucky enough to get a free packet of pads. Although it's only like 3 pairs, but I still got a packet of 3 pairs, and I got a free bottle of a compound, which I said to the guy, I said, "Oh, I know you said you give me some pads, but I think it'll only be free. You go with 3 bottle compound as well, because like you know, gives you so much compound. Trying to run it is unbelievable. You know, it shouldn't really take all those pads and all that compound and 500 minutes to clean like 100 discs, you know, kind of thing." And yeah, it did. So if you want to buy one, make sure you can get the consumer packs online, because I know that I used to do the box of compound for £20, but I stopped doing that. Pads you can buy, but it's like £10 per pair, so that would originally cost £30. So I got £30. The compound was £20, but I stopped doing that separately. So that's like £50 in 3 bits and pieces, because the hassle I had with that. But now it's working again, nearly 100%. I still have 1 or 2 little hiccups with it, which I've got to work out. I'm happy with it. I'm not saying it's going to like in any way make me money back. Not for a long time anyway, because I've got so many discs. I've just ordered. I ordered a bunch of discs on Vintage, and the person cancelled it. Sent me discs for £30. They cancelled it. So I sent them a message, said, "Why did you cancel this?" And the excuse was that they was in hospital. You know, they could have like messaged me saying, "Thanks for the order, but it's going to be delayed because I'm in hospital," you know, and then I would have waited. But no, they cancelled it. So I went on eBay, and as soon as I clicked on eBay, I found a listing, which was practically straight away, of 120 discs, scratched or broken. It says Xbox 360 games only, which I'm more interested in getting. £27, 26p, including my postage. So they will be here later on in the week, hopefully. I won't be getting onto them straight away, because I've got to go through all that lot again, find out what ones have got scratches, and like if they need repolishing and resurfacing and all that shit. If it just needs polishing, and I run it through JFJ. If it needs like a quick cut down on the disc and then buffering, then I do on the HyBird. But I've emailed the guy saying thanks for the extras, you know, I appreciate that, and I probably will buy another consumer pack maybe in a week or two's time, because I know I'm going to be needing it. Now you could get like 3 bottles of compound and 16 packs of 16 pairs of these, But it's like £125 plus postage, and that's from France. I'm not doing that. Right, anyway, I'm going to go, and cheers for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. I might stream Dame later tonight. I don't know yet. Depends on how I feel. So, cheers for watching. Bye for now. Don't forget, share, and subscribe.